The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Once again, a tremendous show is in store for you. We appreciate you tuning in. I'd like to remind you, as always, simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. That's where you can see and hear the show. And in fact, this show, you're going to want to see it because we have a lot of guests and super people right here in the studio. You can find out what's going on simply by going to stewart.com/radio. Let's get down to business as we welcome Chase Harville. Chase is with Keller Williams. Chase, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you inviting me in.
Well, here you are, Chase. Real estate's always interesting, and when we have realtors on, we never know what they're going to say. But let's tell people, first of all, your company, Keller Williams, and the branch that you are in is the Woodlands, right?
Woodlands and Magnolia, yes, sir.
Let's tell people a little bit about the distinctions of Keller Williams and the Woodlands and Magnolia.
Well, our office is located close to the Woodlands Mall off of Lake Woodlands. I would say that we have a wide variety of agents as far as what they do, what they specialize in. And I happen to specialize in residential and farm and ranch myself.
I had a feeling you were going to say farm and ranch. One of my favorite things to talk about, farm and ranch. Let's tell people that may not be familiar with that term, farm and ranch. What exactly does that mean in the world of residential real estate?
It can, different people have different definitions of it.
I'm picturing horses and
yes, sir.
Land. And
yes, I'm actually a retired horse trainer myself. I trained professionally for 25 years and was ready for a life change, and it made a lot of sense for me to go right into worrying about some horse farms, buying and selling horse farms.
Now I have to ask the question, how is real estate like training horses?
There's actually a ton of similarity. You know, you're basically initially selling yourself. You're not really selling properties or buying properties. You have to sell yourself in order to get the business. And so luckily I had that experience from the horse business. I trained Arabian show horses on a high level, and people have choices on who they can send their expensive horses to. So you have to figure out the correct things to say and how to attract people to you.
Well, I think, and then horses, as far as you're talking about the higher end of the horse, that's the Arabian horses, right?
Well, there's high end for all breeds, I guess. But my wife and I both trained horses on the higher end show horses. Competed all over the country, into Canada as well.
Well, a lot of people in real estate that like real estate, that live in the country and the farm and ranch type areas, there's a lot of people that have horses that listen to this show, and even those of us that don't own a horse. I always wonder the intelligence of a horse. As a trainer, how intelligent is the horse, and what are the things are you training them to do?
Arabian horses are known for their intelligence, actually, and so you kind of just have to make sure you're smarter than they are, and sometimes that's a difficult task to maintain. But they're extremely intelligent. You can train dogs to do certain things. Horses, you can train them to do anything a dog can do and more. It's just you have to figure out what makes them tick, because it's not necessarily giving them a dog bone that'll make them do what you ask. So there's a lot of complexities involved with getting a horse to do exactly what you want them to do.
The same thing like working with buyers and sellers, I'm imagining.
Yeah, exactly.
And guiding them along through the transaction.
100%. Yeah, you just gotta stay there with them and give them what they need.
Well, those older people out there that listen to the show, people like me, may remember a show called Mr. Ed. You're probably too young, but Mr.
I saw
Ed,
reruns. I saw reruns, yeah.
That was a smart horse.
Yeah, it was a smart horse.
So meanwhile, back to real estate. So
Yes,
those that are thinking, now that we've got everyone in the mood for some hay and carrots and whatever else horses eat. So there are people that move from other states that want to have land and horses and have the stereotypical Texas lifestyle. How are you serving those buyers and sellers that say, hey, Chase, man, I want room for a couple horses or one horse, and what can they find out there in your area for that?
I've helped quite a few people out of state move into Texas for that very reason. Everybody wants something a little bit different depending on what kind of horses they have. Are they recreational? Are they show horses? Do they compete? Do they don't? Every breed of horse and horse owner wants a different type of soil on the property, a different type of dirt in their arenas. I mean, there's all different types of complexities when you're looking for horse farms. But the good thing is my previous knowledge allowed me to know what these people potentially will want. And so I just have a really good buyer consultation with them, discuss what they're exactly looking for, and then try not to waste their time by showing them a bunch of properties that don't fit their needs.
So in the meantime, you mentioned farm and ranch, and there's all sorts of elements. Certainly there's people that just say, hey, I don't want any animals or anything, but I want, say, a 3,000 square foot home that might be on an acre or 2 or 3. You run into that as well, I imagine.
Absolutely. I've got several of those buyers right now. And, what I'm finding a lot, and it's out of Houston, out of the Woodlands, out of Cypress, people are wanting to get a little bit more space. And so I think we're going to see more and more people looking for that acre tract, that 2-acre tract with a nice house on it. Still have some neighbors involved, but not have them where you can touch the neighbor's house through, sticking your hand out your own window.
Well, and we don't want to mislead people. You're also helping people that just want a regular, quote, normal home. Doesn't have to be farm and ranch. You're serving all sorts of buyers and sellers out there, right?
100%. I love residential as well. I came into real estate, more focused on the land, the horse farms, that sort of thing. My dad actually was a land broker himself, so learned a lot from him. But as I've gotten into the business and as I was fighting for business as a young agent, residential was where it was at for me. And you can learn a ton about real estate doing residential just the same.
Well, give us an idea in the areas that you serve. And again, Woodlands and that northwest area of Houston. How's the market right now for just the regular home buyer and seller? I'm going into my 5th year of real estate, and I have to say this is definitely a different year than we've experienced. I really just got going hard during COVID, and so we all know, we had buyers falling out of the sky at us at that point. Buyer pool is much smaller, I think. Another thing that's continued is we do have a low inventory out there as well, so you can't just sit around and do nothing and have your client find a house right now. You've really got to work right now to, find different options, get creative. If you don't, you're not going to find your buyer a house. One of the things Keller Williams is known for certainly is training.
Yes, sir.
Also, you have meetings and there's a lot of communication about market trends and certainly the United States worldwide market and even beyond with Keller Williams. But as we think of when your company and you all have the meetings and talk about the Houston area, what are some of the things that you talk about when it comes to forecasting the end of this year and then looking ahead to 24? What are the things that y'all talk about?
We do. There's really a mix of discussions between interest rates, what's going on, what's potentially going to happen by end of the year. The good thing about the Woodlands area is we consistently appreciate there basically regardless of market trend. And, so a lot of people want to be in the Woodlands. I've seen several different websites that has rated it the #1 place in the United States to live. So we're not hurting in the Woodlands, but we're having to get creative on how to get more listings. Listings are extremely low in the Woodlands right now. I actually just did a search for around 600 with a pool, 1 story. There were zero in the Woodlands that were for sale. It's just that time where people are trying to figure out, do I sell now and potentially get a larger interest rate on the next house I buy, or do I stay in the market or stay in the house that I'm in at my 3.25% interest rate and just stay here for a little while longer? And I think that every area is fighting that same problem.
And at this point in time, certainly we know that the Houston area, and every area is different, but when we hear here in Houston different things on the national news, it's always different here, and I think we've enjoyed a better real estate economy overall. But as far as the Woodlands, so we're saying there's not much inventory, I'm guessing, in the Woodlands to be had. And yes, there are many popular places in Houston. However, the Woodlands is right up there with popularity and being sought after, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, through the onslaught of into 2021 and, basically halfway through 22, inventory was low back then just because it seemed like a lot of out-of-state people had heard about the Woodlands and had been told that was the place to go.
And I'm glad you mentioned the out-of-state element, as I was going to ask. As you serve buyers and sellers, let's say in the last couple months, have you served buyers from out-of-state?
I have. I helped an Idaho couple come in. I've helped several people from California. I've had a lot of people come in from Illinois as well.
Illinois?
Yes, sir.
I wonder why the people left Idaho. I hear that's a great place.
I think they wanted to be in a more populous area is actually why they decided to move down here. They bought a horse farm, and they bought one in New Ulm, Texas, which is actually more populated than where they lived in Idaho. So
we're talking with Chase Harville. He's with Keller Williams, the Woodlands and Magnolia area. That's right. If you're listening from out of state, that's just basically northwest of the city. Chase, before we close down this segment, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing?
One of my main goals right now is to try to make buyers feel a little bit better about the market we're in. And one way that I can explain it the best is right now, if a house is listed at $350, and albeit you may have a 7.5 rate that your lender gave you, 2 years ago, that house may have been listed for $350, but you're going to have to pay $425 for it. Now you can actually get that house potentially at list price or even under. So it's not necessarily a bad time to buy right now, despite the interest rates, because as soon as those rates go back down, that appreciation is going to go way back up. That's the whole reason behind the craziness we experienced in COVID, is the rates went so far down. People were just buying houses for fun. And so I think if we start dropping back into the 5.5 range, I think the market's going to take off huge, which means you're going to almost have instant equity in the house you just bought. And then you can refinance.
Sounds good to me. Sounds like you're saying buy now from Chase Harville. Chase, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Yes, absolutely. My telephone number is 281-825-6990, or my email address is chase.harvill, HARVILL, @kw.com. 281-825-6990.
Thank you, Chase.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you having me.
As we continue, let's welcome Shanna Jocelyn Cortinas. She is with Keller Williams Realty in Clear Lake, Texas. Shanna, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, we are happy that you're here. Let's tell people, again, Keller Williams. Now let's tell people where your Keller Williams location is, because you're in a whole different area.
Yeah, so we're Southeast Houston. We're Nassau Bay.
Of the Space Center,
yes,
NASA, National Aeronautics Space Administration.
But our group is all over, so we do all over Houston, but that is where we are located, our home office. Yes.
Well, it's really a great area, and you're influenced by the space program and the things related to that, so that's one thing. But as far as your area, you're serving certainly the local area, but also how far out do your agents go?
We go all over Houston. I mean, all the way, Conroe,
everywhere.
Honestly, our group will go all over Texas, to be real honest. But we primarily stay in Houston.
And as far as your work, now, where do you find yourself here, let's say in the last couple months, working as far as geographic area?
Yeah, I mean, definitely we do most of our business down there, Clear Lake area, Galveston. We have a lot of investors we work with that have properties in Galveston.
Well, give people an idea. As we think of your area, there is more water there. So if someone were to look at the map, if you might be listening from Pennsylvania or wherever else, looking at the map, Clear Lake is on the water. Let's tell people what's going on real estate-wise in the if they're looking for water property, a condo near the water or a home?
Right.
You have some
I
of that.
mean, right now we're doing really well. So we are not really seeing a drop. I know in other places around the country, we're not, because we have a lot of investors that are coming in. They are snapping up properties that are low on the market, and so there's not a lot of competition. Interest rates not really an issue. Our group does residential, it also does commercial, so we are helping mostly investors and people that are looking to get into real estate for that wealth building.
I like that you said the term that has never been said on this show, referring to property. They're snapping up property. That is so descriptive. It makes you think that, like right now, as we're speaking, they're snapping up property, perhaps.
Right. Yes. Again, like I said, we try to help people build wealth. And a lot of our clients that we help, we want them to understand that the best way to build wealth in America is through real estate. It is buying land. Land is always for sale, and it's always going to be a high economy, a high value resource for you to be able to invest in and make your money out of. It is something that can build generational wealth.
So tell us about, it also sounds like you're helping people that want to sell their home and buy homes, but it sounds like you also help an investor or two along the way. Tell us about that.
So we do residential, and I'll say right now what we're seeing mostly in residential is people that are having those life experiences, people that are divorcing or people that are downsizing, people that are moving in with kids and selling their homes. That's a majority of the residential that we're seeing. A lot of people that did take advantage of the lower interest rates aren't wanting to move right now, and that's okay. But we have investors that are also looking at these properties that are coming available that are on the market for those people that are making these life changes, and they're able to invest in those properties and make money. And they're turning over. I'm honestly, with my clients, trying to help people that aren't investors become investors. I want to walk my clients through how can they take what cash that they have and put it into a property and make money out of it.
I'm glad you said that. So let's say someone has a chunk of money and they're not even going to go for a loan, but they have, say, $500,000 cash sitting there. So right now, $500,000 in a certain account can make 5%,
right?
5.27%.
Right.
So they're going to make, I don't know, $2,000 a month, give or take, just by the money sitting there. So if I take that $500,000 and I come to you and say, Shanna, I think I'll give you the $500,000 to find me a home where I could be in maybe a better stead from an investment standpoint.
Right.
What would we do with that $500,000?
We're going to look for some properties that we're going to try to make sure that we're finding properties that are going to make a return on that investment. It really depends on the investor. Some investors, they just want to write the check and be done, and they want to not have to really put too much time in it. Then you have other investors.
They leave it to you to do it.
Yeah, well, not me to do it, but yeah, we have all the people and the resources. We're going to get general contractors. We're able to educate our clients on who they need to have, but I can absolutely help them find the best properties.
So you think, from a positive standpoint, that this $500,000, someone has it out there, an investor, or family, or an individual, they could do something in the real estate world that might serve them better down the road.
Absolutely. And you don't need $500,000. I mean,
just picked a number. Yeah.
You can. Any investment in real estate is a good investment. I truly, honestly believe that. No matter what, you're going to learn and experience, and you're going to be able to make money in real estate.
You too can snap up property with
Snap
Shanna.
it up.
Snap it. In fact, that could be the slogan, Shanna. Snap up property with Shanna. Okay, so I think we're on to something, Shanna. In the meantime, as you're out there and things are good, sounds like in the Clear Lake area, also in your business.
Yeah.
So when you look at the end of the year, do you see any kind of rally? Will it get even better? I'm predicting there will be an increase in the end of the year. That's another story. And then what's the outlook for 24 in your Keller Williams branch? What are you all talking about?
I think once people realize that the interest rate is not going to be what it was ever again, and that shock of the interest rate, people are saying, oh, the interest rate's high, it's high, it's high. When you look at statistically, it's not high. It's not. And so I think when people get over that kind of sticker shock situation and they realize that it is still a good time to buy, it will always be a good time to invest in real estate. Maybe you're not interested in investing. You're just looking for your own dream home, whatever. That's still an investment in your future. You can retire off that dream home. So,
do you run into people that want to buy a second home to either enjoy in addition to their primary home and or from an investment standpoint? Are people buying that second home these days?
Oh, all the time. I was showing clients yesterday out of Colorado that are looking for a second home here that they want to Airbnb when they're not using it.
Okay, so how did they find you, Shanna Jocelyn Cortines from Colorado? What city, by the way?
So they are from Denver, Colorado. And they found me. So I'm a part of a large group. It is the Jones Realty Group in Clear Lake, and they are well known for being able to help investors and help clients. So
the word's out.
Yeah, the word's out. Everybody knows the Jones Realty Group is who you want on your side.
So you're reaching all the way out to Colorado, probably beyond too.
Yeah. And I'm the buyer specialist with the group, so I help our buyers and people that come through our group. Usually, if you're buying, you're going to be with me.
So whether it's an investor, family, or individual, how often are you seeing these people buy with cash?
Our investors, we do see a lot of investors that are purchasing with cash right now just because they want to avoid the interest rate. We have some really great lenders that we use that are amazing, that help us to be able to educate our clients that maybe, I don't really want to go into major detail, but maybe you don't want to do cash and you want to put that money into a CD and it has a better interest rate. And so we're educating our clients about the best way to use their money.
That sounds pretty good. So from your standpoint, things are looking good beyond the 2024 mark.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's only going to get better.
And of all the things you could be doing, why did you choose real estate?
Well, I was an ASL interpreter, a sign language interpreter for 15 years prior to getting into real estate. My husband was an inspector, and I started to kind of see the opportunities that were not there for me to build wealth in education. And even though I enjoyed helping the children that I helped, that I interpreted for, I saw an opportunity to be able to help people and to help me to be able to build wealth. And so I started investing, did my first flip, and that $120,000 cash check, like that, I was sold. I was in it. Let's do it.
You're like, hey, this is a good thing. So for your own personal investing, it sounds like, and there's different avenues for investing. Certainly,
Correct.
You mentioned one that was popular and many TV shows addressed the theme of flipping. Is that still a thing?
Absolutely.
So what if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to invest and flip a property, and again, let's go back to the 500,000 even number. I take the 500,000 and I want to flip it. How do I know what property has the best profile to flip?
We're going to run comps on the property.
For?
So we're going to look for property that maybe is a foreclosure or that's in, duress, that needs some TLC, and then we're going to run comps on it. And if we think that we can make money off of that home, and everybody, they're looking at the ARV and everybody has their number that they're looking at that they want. So it depends on the investor. I'm going to find the right property for that investor using the funds, whether it be a lender or cash.
It sounds like you would be a good counsel for someone that's wanting to, like you said earlier, dip their toe into the investing and begin, as you have done, so you have experience. What other things do you do from an investing standpoint?
So our group, like me personally, yeah. So for me, it's a matter of buying up properties and putting some money into them, as little money as possible, to be real honest, because I don't want to, I want the profit. I want to be able to make money. So putting a little bit of money into the property, turn around and selling it for as much as I can.
We're talking with Shanna Jocelyn Cortines with Keller Williams Clear Lake.
If you're looking to build some wealth and to hopefully put yourself in a better financial situation, you need to give me a call.
Right now, Shanna, I'm feeling there's a person in California. They're in Dana Point, California, saying, I think I need to call Shannon. What's the number?
It is 346-907-7072. Again, 346-907-7072.
Shanna Jocelyn Cortines. Shanna, thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Let's talk to Javon Martin. His company is eXp Realty right here in Houston. Hey, Javon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Javon, let's tell people eXp Realty. Let's tell them a little bit about your company.
Hey, so I guess the first thing I have to mention with eXp is that we are a online brokerage. So you'll hear a lot of realtors talk about, my office is located in the Woodlands or my office is located in Galleria. Our offices are online, but a lot of us agents have, offices that we float around. But eXp, I think is one of the fastest growing brokerages in the nation right now.
It has quite a presence, actually.
It does. Mm-hmm.
So as far as when you're looking at, let's say geographically where you have done a lot of work, let's just say in the last couple months, where have you spent most of your time here?
So my hot spots are Cypress and Katy.
Let's tell people what's going on especially Katy. What's happening out there these days?
So if you go, Katy past 99 is just expanding. A lot of new builds going on out there. I would say Katy and Cypress, just for me, are my favorite areas because the days on market are a little bit lower than other markets.
That's right. I'm hearing that the homes are moving pretty fast right there, especially Katy.
Yep. I think average days on market for the entire HAR MLS is probably about 45, maybe 65. And what we've been seeing in Katy, we just went under contract in 15 days, and it was multiple offers.
What do you see draws people to Katy? Again, we'll take that as an area. Mm-hmm. What do you think draws them the most to the Katy area?
So a lot of the families and clients that I work with really like Katy because Katy is ranked nationally, school district-wise. Additionally, Katy on a good day is about 30 to 35-minute drive to downtown Houston without having to live with the downtown Houston traffic.
And I'll also submit, and I'm a user of the HOV lane, that is, when you think about it, you're on I-10 and you get on the HOV, you might think, oh, well, all roads have HOV. Well, they don't. So, if you're coming from Sugar Land, I would say that's an advantage of Katy. So when you go further, do you go to Fulshire at all?
Yes. I was actually in Fulshire 2 days ago.
And how was it out there?
It's quieter. But there's still growth happening a lot out there. So if you go out 10, you've got the Igloo plant and quite a few other factories that are always hiring. And so I think that right there plays also a little bit into the growth out in that area.
When you think of the 99 area, and then for those that are listening that aren't familiar with Houston, there are several loops that go around. 99 happens to be the outermost loop, and it's just a tremendous road. But when we think about activity in 99 in inventory, if someone wanted to be near that area, which is Katy, and then further west, Fulshire, what is the inventory levels there now? Are you places to look at? Can we find a home out there, Javon?
It's still, so you'll hear a lot of people say it's still a seller's market. So inventory is a little bit on the low end. I would say it's roughly 2 to 3 months before turnover, and that rolls into about the 65 days on market. I like to, so I run a team, and I like to tell the agents that even if we're working with buyers, there's always a solution. And one of the best ways that we've been helping our buyers is finding off-market properties.
So let's describe what we call an off-market property. What would that be?
So a property that you're not going to find on HAR.com or on the MLS.
Or Realtor.com. It's not on there yet. So these are properties that are getting ready to list, or people that just don't want to put it on the listing services?
So we pull certain data lists, so like absentee owners, downsizers, or we're just going out and knocking on doors in certain neighborhoods. Like if a client says, hey, I want to buy in Deerfield Village, which is where I'm at, I'll just go knock doors and say, hey, I've got a client that's looking for a house similar to yours. Do you or a neighbor that is looking to sell?
How successful is that?
Very.
Really? So okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
I was going to come up with some sort of stat, but I would say, so last month we closed probably 4 deals. No, we closed 4 deals just by doing that.
Pretty much the only people that come to my door is the Amazon driver and roofers. So
we're going to find your neighborhood and
come over and
market
see it. So, but let's go back to that example, and just, you don't have statistics, but would you say, let's say you knocked on 20 doors theoretically, right? Mm-hmm. Out of those 20, are you going to find someone that goes through the process and says, yeah, I'll sell you my home, or I'll sell it?
So if it's a neighborhood that we actually have buyers in, I would say out of those 20, within the next 3 months, we'll find one person who's ready to go. If you're looking in the next year, you pull data because follow up is key.
So, well, you have that as part of the inventory, so to speak, then. And then, of course, there's stuff that's on the MLS, and it's out there, and even Realtor.com is a good place to see properties. As you look ahead to 2024 and finishing out this year, what kind of things are you seeing activity-wise?
I do see, so with it being election year, just going based off of past election years, I do see maybe a slight shift. We're not talking about like the 3-4% rates, like maybe a slight shift downward trend in rates, more buyers entering the market. And what I've seen with working with sellers, maybe a few more sellers being receptive to listing their home and moving.
That is a positive factor for real estate. Again, guesswork here on my part, and even yours. We don't know, but I think the election year is going to help things along, not just in Houston, but beyond. As far as market trends, do you see anything happening there that we should know about other than the fact that, election year is coming up and that? What other things do you see people from the seller standpoint, let's say? What are sellers thinking these days?
From the seller standpoint, on the negative side, a lot of sellers aren't getting what they're thinking their house is going to get, just because we're not 2 years ago, even last year, where houses are just flying off the shelf, so to speak. So like a lot of the conversations that I have with sellers is we set expectations, but hey, this is a hot zone that your house will sell, and if they want to list higher, then your house is going to sit on market longer. But with it still being on a slight seller's market, negotiations are swinging still a little bit more on the seller side. So like our sellers are still getting title policy paid by the buyers, and we might even be able to use the title company that we work with. The negotiations there's still not a whole lot of back and forth negotiations. It might be 1 or 2, 3 negotiations, and it's locked down, on what the seller wants.
How often are you running into the cash buyers? Let's say the last 10 buyers that you've helped, how many were cash, if any?
So if I'm working with a buyer, it's usually an investor.
And is that
cash
investor?
Buyer.
So they're cash buyers.
Cash buyers.
So that's a good thing.
Or we're doing cash out refis on clients that, like I've got a client, one of the first clients that I sold a house to or helped buy a house 4 years ago. She's selling her home, and we're taking the equity and investing it in 2 more properties.
And of all the things you could be doing, Javon Martin, real estate, why did you choose real estate?
So my background before I was in real estate was car sales, and I was miserable there in car sales. But I loved, someone coming to me with a problem or a goal, I guess the best way of saying, figuring out how to achieve that goal. And so sales has always kind of been one of my fortes, and real estate is a lot better than car sales. A lot more honesty.
I would think so. Also, but the car sales is a quicker turnaround, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically, depending on inventory and things like that we had issues in previous years. Javon, before we close this segment, what else you want people to know?
I happen to be the owner and leader for the Aries Realty Group. 9 agents on our team, 2 admin, seven of us active agents. So the best way to reach me is going to be via cell phone, 832-463-0437, or reach me through one of our social media sites.
The phone number again is
832-463-0437.
Thank you so much, Javon Martin.
Yep.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is once again with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett.
Hi, Bill. Nice to see you, sir.
Here we are, insurance royalty, John Bramlett. The name is known far and wide.
Far and wide.
It's amazing. And here we are talking about insurance once again.
It's a challenging time for folks from an insurance perspective, both businesses as well as individuals. That we're all seeing, the cost of of insurance going up and premiums going up. And I think it's important that we take a moment and realize that in order to make sure that we are properly insured, that we work with somebody that's going to take the time to explain to us, what the options are. I know from a home perspective that there are some opportunities out there for folks to reduce their premiums. The concern that we have is if they go that route but don't compare the coverage that they're receiving versus the coverage that they currently have, that there could be an issue down the line where they've assumed they have coverage and they don't, and now they've got an issue. We've talked quite a bit about, water damage as an example, that not all home policies provide coverage for the 4 types of water damage that insurance companies will provide coverage for. And we also look at the fact that while not all 4 there, they all may be sublimited as well. So the fact that I'm saving several $100s a year on my premium is fantastic. If you suddenly don't have water damage coverage and you have a leaky pipe or a backup or a pipe breaks and you've got damage to your home from the water, now suddenly that's out of your pocket. So while it's great to save money, and if that's a critical issue, we work with our clients to find them the best value possible. Just keep in mind that that's not, that shouldn't be the only consideration.
That's right. You have to make decisions as you talk to your insurance associate at Stewart Insurance as far as how much coverage. Because recently, and right, you must be mind reading the room here. Before you showed up, we were talking. Someone mentioned the high price of insurance on homes, and even myself working with Stewart Insurance, I had a quote of, I don't know if it was $3,400 a year, and I worked with the insurance associate at Stewart Insurance and got my rate down to $2,800. Now I'm giving up some things. However, at least you all had that option for me where other companies may not have.
Well, I think there's a couple of key points there. One is that's great that we had the option for you, and I'm happy about that. But equally important is the fact that you understand that you've given some things up and that you made that decision. So if a claim occurs, hopefully it doesn't, but if an incident does occur, you understand walking in what you have coverage for and what you don't have coverage for. And if that's the case, then in our world, you're properly insured because you understand what you have coverage. What we don't want to see happen is something comes up, you have an incident, and you assume that you have coverage and you don't. That's where there becomes an issue. So I'm happy that we were able to help you with your premium. More importantly, I'm happy with the fact that we had that conversation. You understand what's covered and what's not.
Well, and also pointing to the fact that Stewart Insurance is a broker, so you're not locked into one company. So I think that gives you more ability to help people buying their home insurance and car insurance, etc.
Absolutely. Especially now, being an independent agent, we do have access to a variety of insurance partners, whether they be for people's personal insurance or real estate business insurance. But in today's market, things are changing every day. Companies are coming into the market, they're exiting the market, they're losing appetite for certain types of coverage. So being able to be aware of that, but then also have options. And in some cases, we have a variety of options, and in some cases, they're going to be smaller. Or understanding if we do a couple of different things, that expands then the options that we have available. That can be beneficial to our clients and is beneficial to our clients.
And John, we will also point out you're not just helping people. Stewart Insurance is not just helping people right here in Houston, but far and wide in the United States.
Absolutely. So we have clients all over the U.S., both from a business perspective as well as a personal insurance perspective. So we do understand that there are going to be different requirements, different challenges depending upon where we are in the country, and we're able to work with our clients, whether it be an individual on their home, auto, wind, flood, motorcycle, investment property, or if it's for a real estate broker or realtor or independent title attorney agent on their business insurance.
And no doubt you are out there helping people with knowledge, continuing education classes. I can't open up a Facebook and not see there's John doing the 2 sides of water at Kirby Grove or wherever else. John, you're the hardest working man in insurance.
Well, hopefully so. Hopefully so. No, we believe very much in the idea of providing value to our clients. That we want to make sure that we're supporting our internal family, our title offices, making sure that we can provide some value for their clients, as well as for just our realtor clients and our real estate broker clients, that we do provide value for them, that they have the ability then to turn on and offer CE classes for their clients to reward them and support them. So, we have 3 continuing education classes that we offer. 2 Sides of Water that you mentioned, it's a 2-hour class, and it looks at how insurance companies look at water damage, whether it be, internally, so that would be a home insurance plan, or externally, a flood insurance plan. We look at real estate liability, protect your license. So we look at 7 or 8 different ways that the risk that realtors face on a daily basis, and then ways that they can minimize those risks, and then ways you can offset them through insurance. And that's a 3-hour class. And then the last one is Property Insurance Essentials for Real Estate Professionals. It's a 2-hour class, and insurance companies look at residential real estate property in 6 different ways. So giving the realtors some nuggets that they can share with their clients about, based upon how they're going to use the property, it's going to let them know that, hey, John, since you're not going to be living here, you're going to use this as an investment property, you might want to visit with your insurance company because your home coverage is not going to apply here. Or if you've got vacant land, even though it's vacant, you still might consider some coverage. Think about visiting with your insurance provider about some liability coverage.
And that's a good point. As Shanna was mentioning, her work with investors, especially the new investor that she's guiding through, helping people realize the gains of real estate investing. A lot of people that are new to investing don't realize, if I buy that second home, if I buy a home that's vacant, if I buy a lot, that's a whole different world of insurance that we're in, a different category.
Absolutely. So at least we're not asking realtors and brokers to be insurance advisors, but we are providing those nuggets that can say, based upon how you're using the property, here's some considerations that you ought to think about.
Yeah, because most of us, the regular person is like, I pay my house insurance.
Exactly right. But what happens if you're moving and it's going to be vacant for a period of time? Suddenly the home coverage doesn't come into play, and you need to look at some different alternatives.
Once again, another reason to call Stewart Insurance.
Absolutely. We're here both on the personal and the business side to make sure that our clients are properly insured.
I got a text from your president, Tom Carpentier, Stewart Insurance, who does magnificent work 24/7. I hope he's listening, by the way. But he sent me a text when we did the rerun last week's show.
Yes.
He sent me a text, hey, where's the show? And I was just so glad that he was awaiting the show, like many people do around the city and the nation. They want to know, where's the show? And he didn't get the show mailed to him, and he's like, hey, where is it? That made me feel good.
Well, no, and he does listen. He does listen every Friday on the show that you sent out prior to the Sunday broadcast. And we've been really fortunate with the good work that you've done and the folks at Stewart Title have done. We continue to see an increase in listenership every month, and we're very, very pleased and humbled by that.
Well, it's interesting, too. They're talking about the podcast is starting to get a lot more downloads each month. You can hear us on the podcast on the iHeartRadio. John, before we close this segment, what else should we know?
Well, if you do want to be properly insured, whether that be as an individual or a real estate professional, we can help you out, and our advisors will invest the time to make sure that you're comfortable and you understand the best way to be insured. And in some cases, it's going to be, look, business is down, our gross commissions are down. Are there ways that we can save on our coverage? And we'll work with you on that way. But there's also folks that are growing, or as it was mentioned earlier, I have to have a bigger home now because I've got a growing family. So we work with you on whatever those changes are in your life to make sure that you're properly insured. They can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And the Colorado hotline is
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Thank you, Bill.
Here she is, all the way from Tomball, Texas, Becky Bohannon. She is our business development officer right there in Tomball. In addition, she's back, Lori Mosier. Hey, guys, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, Becky, first of all, Lori was said a word last week's show, I believe. So let's tell people your role at Stewart Title.
I am the business development officer for Stewart Title Tomball.
Stewart Title Tomball is one of our is a very active branch, and you've been there how many years?
Over 20 years.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Longevity for Stewart Title Associates, far and wide, escrow officer, business development, and branch manager. We have a lot of longevity. People
Yes, we
stay
do.
with us, don't they?
We do. I truly believe in Stewart Title. I truly do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here. I couldn't sell it.
Well, it's awesome that you bring tremendous guests also on a regular basis. Let's tell people, Becky, I know they want to bring the contract right there to Tomball, Texas. How do they reach you?
They can reach us at 281-357-8277. My cell is 713-591-3319, and my email is becky.bohannon. It's a big one, BOHANNAN at stewart.com.
Phone number again, your cell is?
Cell 713-591-3319.
Because you have continuing education classes. John will be there as well as others. So that's a great thing. You are a tremendous resource. Hey, Lori, a quick word from you. What's your role at Stewart Title? Let's tell people once again.
I am a new closer there. I am a licensed escrow officer, and so I have just been with Stewart Title for about a month, and I'm having a great time. Love working with Becky.
And she just got her first contract this weekend.
See, and what's, another distinction is that within the month's time, you've been on the radio now twice, huh?
Hey,
is it too much fun?
Maybe I got it from being on the radio.
Hey, no telling. But you're having a good time serving
Yes,
people in a
absolutely.
tremendous way, you and Becky. Here is Rachel Saunders. Real quick, Rachel, as we continue the show, just a quick word. Looks like you brought somebody with you, too. All right, so, Rachel, let's tell people right quick, your branch is, or branches.
I have two branches, actually.
Offices,
I
yeah.
have Friendswood, and I also have our Gulf Freeway office, which does offer habla español if they're needing those services. And then, of course, we have Jana from...
Jana McGuire with the Clear Lake office.
Well, so there you are, doing tremendous work. Jana, how is the Clear Lake area? Let's tell people. And also, you're fairly new to the company. Give us a word on your
So I've been there almost 2 months now.
time's
So
flying,
I'm
isn't it?
enjoying it a lot. Rhonda, my manager and the senior escrow officer there is great.
Well, it's
So
super
I really
awesome. And
enjoy
here we
her.
are for Stewart Title for all of us coming on our 130th birthday. So we talk about longevity all the way around.
That's right.
Jana, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Yeah, they can reach me. My phone number is 832-244-3439. And my email is Jana, Jana, McGuire, MCGUIRE at stewart.com.
I have one thing to say. Show me the money. Remember the movie Jerry Maguire?
Show me
Didn't they
the
say
money.
that? Did we get your phone number, Rachel?
Jerry Maguire, right?
Yeah, something like
you
that.
can reach me for my Friendswood or Gulf Freeway offices at 832-418-4778.
Thank you so much. Here she is, Juliana Bareford, Kirby Grove. I know she has John at her office all the time, educating the realtors and the real estate professionals. I mean,
I sure do. I had John out last Thursday. We had 35 people registered.
look,
with us.
I was on vacation last
I
week, and I
know.
actually saw that Facebook post, and I felt like I was working for some reason. But anyway, yeah, I said, there's John again with a full house, by the way.
Very full house, yes.
That's unbelievable. What else you have coming up?
I've got John back again first part of October. I have an inspection class. I have a reverse mortgage class tomorrow. And then I'll have legal 1, legal 2, and contracts.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
Someone told me you were on a cruise lately.
I was on a cruise,
scale
another
from,
cruise.
Scale from 1 to 10, how was it?
10.
And we're
We left out of Miami, went to the Bahamas.
super nice. Tell us more about it next show, and how can people reach you?
832-296-7666. And Juliana, Juliana, .Bareford, BAREFORD at stewart.com.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Here he is, Chase Harville. He's back from horses to all sorts of things to the Space Center. We're back again. Let's tell people what you want them to know before we close down the show.
I love helping buyers with sellers as well. My telephone number once again is 281-825-6990. Be happy to help you with anything residential, farm and ranch, land, whatever your need is.
And you, I'm sure you help investors as well out there every now and then, right?
I do. I dive into a little bit of commercial land as well, and typically raw. But there's a lot of land in the Magnolia area that has gone from being a horse farm to potentially now being a neighborhood.
Could be a
and
development.
so I've
yeah.
definitely had those listings and help those people buy that type of property as well.
And out of curiosity, as people remember your appearance earlier a few minutes ago, and that is you were training horses And now you're not. You're in real estate for several years now. However, do you have a horse? Do you still stay in contact with the equine element?
I definitely do.
How many horses?
Well, my wife and I guess we own 2 right now,
Okay.
I believe. I call them hers now, not mine.
Okay, yeah.
So that puts the responsibility on her to take care of them. But it's definitely helped my business to stay in touch with all of my horse friends from around the country, because not only have I helped list a ton of properties from people from the Arabian horse business, but I can refer anybody anywhere across the world as well. And so I've done a ton of referrals for friends that I have all across the country, whether they're moving from Oregon to Louisiana or vice versa. It's a lot of fun, and I really feel like I'm helping people out by finding them a great realtor if I can't do it myself.
And your phone number again is?
281-825-6990.
Thank you so much, Chase.
Thank you, sir.
Let's welcome back Shanna Jocelyn Cortinas. Let's snap up some property, right?
Let's do it.
Let the word go forth, Houston, Texas, and beyond. It's time to snap up property with Shanna.
Yes.
That's the name of your next radio show.
Yes.
Or your first one.
Shanna.
There you go. What else should we know, Shanna?
Well, I just wanted to say I work with a large group, and I think that is something that's really important for people to know, that when you hire us, you get not 1, not 2, not 3. You get several agents. And then we have a huge group of people that help us, from insurance, title, contractors. So,
aren't you glad you met John Bramlett? Now you have another resource.
Exactly. I was listening to him, and I'm like, yes.
That's right.
I'll be getting his card later.
And he can teach your group as well.
Yeah.
Shanna Jocelyn Cortinas. Let's tell people how they can reach you.
Okay, my number is 346-907-7072. My email is Shanna, SHANNA, Cortinas, CORTINAS, @kw.com. We're on social media, the Jones Realty Group, Facebook page.
And we'll also embellish once again that your office is literally across the street from the NASA, the Space Center, right here in Houston, Texas.
It's in Clear Lake, right off of Saturn.
Right. Have you sold any properties to any astronauts?
I have, actually.
You don't have to mention their name, but just saying. And that's pretty awesome,
yes, that we are very convenient for the astronauts.
On their lunch break, they could just walk over and buy a home.
Snap up some property.
Snap it up if you're listening out there. Thank you so much, Shanna. And he's back, Javon Martin, as we close things down. Javon, here we are at the last minute or so of the show. It's you and me. What else should people know?
Team leader for a small group here in Houston, EXP, the Aries Realty Group. We love specializing with any buyers, pretty much anyone who's looking to do something real estate. You got a problem, we'll find the solution.
Sounds good to me. And let's tell people, Javon Martin with EXP Realty and also lead of the Aries Realty Group. How can they reach you?
Direct cell phone is going to be 832-463-0437. And the other way to best reach any of our agents is going to be through social media.
And which social media? You use Facebook, I'm assuming, right?
Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And we just started our YouTube page.
I was going to say, what about TikTok? I mean, people tell me we should be on that. Is that a good thing?
Yes, but I'm not that young.
Neither am I. Welcome to the club. Thank you so much, Javon Martin. The phone number again is?
832-463-0437.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett and all of us at Stewart Title, Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening. Simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. We'd be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. You see how great our business development people are, our branch managers, our escrow officers. Simply go to stewart.com to find out more. We'd be there for your real estate transaction. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.